And why are so many young men into them? Hey young man, I am back. First long form video in a very long time. I hope you're doing good. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe, and share this with a brother you believe will benefit from this. Andrew Tate, Jordan Peterson, Kevin Samuels, Donald Trump, Kanye West. What do these guys have in common? I'm gonna answer that question for you. I wanna let you know that the reason young men are into the men that I just talked about is because they are bold. I'm sure if you've been on the internet long enough, you've heard of one of those men. All of those men are the upper echelon of men in society, and they have different occupations. But one of the common things that they all have, one of the biggest traits that they all have, is boldness. Boldness is a masculine quality. And in a very, very feminine society in the West that we are in now, in a society that shames people for having an opinion, a different idea, thinking differently, and the cancel culture is rampant, those men that I talked about are unapologetically bold. It doesn't matter if you agree with all that they say. It doesn't matter if you completely understand all that they say or if you're offended by what they say. These men are popular with men because they're bold, and that is a masculine trait. Think about it. It's called the life of the party. Some of the men that I mentioned are very charismatic. Andrew Tate, for example. Donald Trump, for example. Very charismatic. Boldness, being the life of the party, is someone that is such an extrovert. You just are drawn to them. And sometimes you don't know why. A lot of the reason why a lot of people are drawn to extroverts is because they have a quality that other people don't have. A lot of people may be introverted. And then here comes this extroverted person who has great social skills, who's not afraid to be bold, stand out, maybe dresses differently, maybe speaks differently, maybe it has just a big personality, maybe it's just honest and upfront. And a lot of reasons why a lot of people are drawn to those kind of people is because they too want to be like that secretly, but they can't. All of the people that I just talked about are bold, and they're not afraid to say what they believe. And that is a big token of masculinity. You know, a lot of men, regular men, everyday average young men, don't have the ability to just be off the cuff and say what needs to be said and say the truth and say what's on their mind like the men I talked about, because they could get canceled, they could get fired. Some people may not want to be friends with them anymore. They can get ostracized by friends and social circles and family. And so they just don't say anything, but they gravitate towards that masculine desire to be bold. They gravitate towards men that have that boldness in them. Now, none of these men are perfect. None of these men are just the absolute best, but they're all masculine. They're all leaders in one way or another, and they're all speaking to men and saying things that men wish they could say. The West is very feminized. Women run society. Women run media, print, entertainment. Women run the consumer market. Women are more likely to buy. So everything is catered to women. So men feel like they don't have any place in society. This is why testosterone levels are down. This is why so many men are depressed. This is why there are many incels out there, those who are involuntarily celibate. This is why a lot of men feel marginalized. Suicide rates are higher among men. This is because they cannot be authentically themselves and say what they want to say. They cannot say 1 + 1 = 2. No, they have to say or believe or agree with things that they just know innately isn't true. You know, men are more likely to be more logical. They're more likely to think things through. Women are more emotional. And that's why you can tell the West is ran by women, because we have a very sensitive and emotional society. Everything is about feelings. Everything is about going along to get along, not stepping on people's feet, because women are more likely to be emotional. Women are more likely to consider the feelings of others. Women are less likely to tell the truth. Think about it in a friend group. A woman will tell her friend, oh yeah, girl, you looking good in that outfit, even though they know they don't. Or girl, you don't need to lose weight, you're not fat, even though they know they do. Or girl, yeah, he's good for you, even though she knows he's not. Because women, we want to be accepted. We care more about acceptance, and we want to be in the group. We want to be in the group, not outcast from the group. And so because of that, we're more likely to lie and go on our emotions and consider other people's feelings. Now, some of that is good. Being empathetic is a good trait. But you have to have the logic with the empathy and put it together. And that's why men are very good at being logical. Women are good at being, emotional, but putting it together. That's why men and women really need each other. But in the society that we're in now, women are running everything. So women are telling men, we don't need you. We don't want that logic. We don't want that boldness. We don't want that honesty. We want political correctness, because that's what's going to make us feel better. We want to accept everything because that's what's going to make us feel better. And you have Andrew Tate, Kevin Samuels, you have Donald Trump, you have Kanye West, you have Jordan Peterson, 5 men, and there's other men that I could list, but these men who are bold and unapologetic and not politically correct and say what they need to say. And there's a lot of truth in what a lot of them are saying. They're willing to offend. They're willing to be, out there, fearless, and it doesn't matter. They are willing to be bold. And that's the biggest reason I believe that a lot of men, and young men in particular, look up to the men that I just said today. None of them are perfect. But guess what? We don't like Kanye West because he's perfect. We like him because he's Kanye. Because we don't know what to expect from him. Because we don't know what he will say. Because he'll ruffle feathers. He's good entertainment. He's someone that, wow, I think a lot of people wish they could be as bold as him. We don't care about the fact that Andrew Tate is perfect. Men just like that he's masculine and he's unapologetically masculine in a culture that's saying that masculinity is toxic. Being ambitious is toxic. Being a leader is toxic. That's what they're saying. Calling a thing, a spade, that's toxic. Being logical, that's toxic. That's what society is saying. So when you have a Jordan Peterson who is saying you need to be responsible for yourself, you don't need to be worrying about others and trying to fix the world before you fix yourself, that is a problem for a lot of people who they just so focused on others. They're not focused on themselves. A lot of people today are selfish. They don't want to sit here and take responsibility. They want any excuse for them to do what they want to do. So that's why Jordan Peterson is a problem, because he's telling men to be masculine leaders, to take care of themselves, to hold themselves accountable and be respectable people and to be responsible. We can't have that. All of the men that I talked about have either been deplatformed on all social medias or are public enemy number one to somebody. Very controversial figures for just stating facts, just stating the obvious. Now, of course, everything that they say may not be truthful, may not be factual, but at least they're bold enough to say it. So a lot of young men are attracted to men who have the masculine quality of boldness because it's like they live in vicariously through those people. They're talking to the issues that men face. They're pointing out the problems in society when it comes to men. They're making them feel like they matter. And that's why a lot of young men and men in general are attracted to the people that I just talked about. Bold, unapologetic, fearless, courageous, not politically correct, and although not perfect, but nonetheless bold. So young man, why do you like any of the people that I just talked about? And not only that, how can you become more bold in your day-to-day life? What is it that you can do every day to take a step in courage, to take a step in boldness? Let me know. God bless you. Jesus loves you. And so do I, young man.